Welcome to Phoenix and Flame, pushing through and transforming even when you feel like a pile of ash.
This podcast is not intended for use as psychotherapy. If you feel you are in crisis, please call 911 or contact your local crisis hotline. Welcome to Phoenix and Flame. I'm Dana, and this is my podcast on pushing through and transforming even when you feel like a pile of ash. Well, I have been giving a lot of interviews lately, which I absolutely love to do. It's so much fun to be able to talk to so many different people and get to hear all their very interesting stories about what they've been through and how they survived. Today, however, I decided to do a solo podcast. I do those once in a while. I used to do them all the time. And now, every so often, a thought comes to mind, or I just kind of want to do a solo podcast. And plus, I'm having ideas of trying to create more podcasting and get it going more than I have in the past. So, if I want to do that, that means I need to record more podcasts. So, I was thinking the other day, I was browsing through TikTok, by the way, which seems to be the sucking vortex of time. I mean, I'm not joking. I literally have to set a timer on my phone. I allow myself 2 minutes and I start scrolling through TikTok because if I don't set that timer, I think I probably would sit there for at least 30 minutes and have no concept of how much time has passed. But I love TikTok because it gives a lot of useful tips and it has lots of different people on there just doing their thing and being who they are. And I just love it. Anyway, so I was kind of scrolling through TikTok looking specifically for what kind of shoes do you wear with trousers? Now, I needed to know this because I'm in a leveling up phase, which I'll talk about in a minute, with a consultant is working with me, has been working with me for several months on adding new opportunities onto my business, providing more offerings, and I'll talk more about that here in a minute as well. But apparently, when you level up and you do this kind of thing, one of the things I'm supposed to pay attention to is my wardrobe. So I went on TikTok and I found some really neat outfits and things that I liked, and several of them involved trousers. Well, okay. So then you have to think about, well, if you have trousers, what shoes do you wear with trousers? It's like if you give a pig a pancake, it just goes on and on. Well, I was scrolling through there looking at the different shoe options that various people were very proudly displaying as something that you wear with trousers. And let me tell you, I think I saw about everything under the sun. What my takeaway from all that was this: you can basically wear whatever you damn well want to wear, as long as you wear it like you mean it. It kind of reminds me of a quote that I think Dolly Parton said: find out who you are and do it on purpose. I think that's what these people do. That's how they can get away with wearing these things. I saw one pair of shoes that, I'm not kidding, it looked like some of those plastic slip-on sandals that you wear when you go get a massage. Like, they're usually on the shelf next to the robes, and you put them on and you walk around with them while you're getting your massage and afterwards or whatever, and then when you're done, you put them in the bin. I guess they sanitize them or whatever. I'm telling you, the shoes look like a white pair of those sandals. I'm thinking, huh, okay. Then I saw another pair that looked like house shoes that they were wearing with trousers, but they were wearing them with style and panache. So I'm thinking, okay, so I guess I can just wear whatever I want to, as long as I wear it like I mean it. So that was my takeaway from that. Something else I'm having to do in this phase is watch myself on video, which I don't like. I don't like doing that. I will say, from doing my audio podcast, I did have to get over listening to my own voice. When I first started doing that, trying to edit my podcast, it drove me nuts. I couldn't stand it. But then after a while, you just suck it up, move it on, just get on, get over with it. So I did that, and it no longer bothers me listening to my voice. But watching me talk, I recorded about 14 modules on boundaries, which I'm going to create an online course with that later. That's part of what I'm creating. But I had to watch the video. I have to watch my facial expressions and what I look like when I speak. And I'm telling you, I did not like that, because then when you go out and you're talking, you're so like self-aware. It's not pleasant. You're kind of aware of how your face looks, and I don't like that. I would just like to be myself and just do my thing. But again, apparently, according to my consultant, if I'm going to level up, I have to be willing to not only have myself recorded, but then watch the recordings to figure out what needs to go, what needs to stay. And I totally understand that on an intellectual level, but doing it is not amusing. I'm hoping that one day, maybe a year from now, after I've done this several times and I'm used to it, that I'll be like, oh, yeah, no problem. But I'm telling you right now, there are certain facial expressions that I'm going to try as hard as I can never to make again because they look terrible. So, like I said a few moments ago, I'm in this, I guess we'll call it a leveling up phase. I have a wonderful private practice with patients that I just love. And then I started my Phoenix and Flame podcast, which I'm enjoying my podcast thoroughly. And like I said a few moments ago, I'm more than likely going to be trying to create more content more frequently, to upload more episodes quicker, and create more of a social media platform presence there so that I can communicate more with my listeners. That's an area of mine that I'm needing to work on. So I'm kind of wondering if there's anybody out there listening that happens to be in a phase where, are you leveling up, or do you know somebody who is leveling up? Maybe wants to or needs to. I'm thinking about people that I know that want a different job than the one they have, or they want more education than what they have, or they need more experience. And sometimes it's something that they need, sometimes it's something that they want. You have some individuals that they're perfectly satisfied where they are, but they would really enjoy leveling up. And there's other people that they're not happy with where they are at all, and they really, really need to be in a different position in life. They need to do something else. The prospect is, it's pretty scary, and it's rather daunting. And I'll go into that here in just a moment. But it's not particularly pleasant, this leveling up process. It sounds good on the outside, and the end result, I'm hoping, will be good. But the process is arduous. And I think I wanted to record this podcast to reach out to any of my listeners who may be experiencing something similar to what I'm going through right now. I started thinking of different characters in the Bible that had to level up. And the stories are different. Like I thought of David. I mean, I'm not going to go into his whole long, lengthy story, but basically, he started out as a nobody, just a little brother left at home tending sheep while his older brothers were out fighting a war. He ended up becoming king. Talk about leveling up. But that's a long story, and he was not perfect by any means along the way. He made a lot of mistakes, but he kept going. David is an awesome story. Moses is another story of leveling up. He had very humble beginnings in a Hebrew family. He had to be put in a little kind of a, they call them Moses baskets now, actually, but they were woven baskets and put down the Nile to escape being murdered was going on at the time. I'm not going to go into the whole story. You can feel free to read it if you want to. It's pretty entertaining, actually. But he was kind of adopted by an Egyptian princess, raised as an Egyptian. He didn't even know he was Hebrew. But when he figured it out, he like murdered somebody and just ran out of town. He hid out in the desert for years and years. Talk about leveling up. I mean, he ended up coming back, and he was the one responsible for the whole Exodus. He was the one that walked down, I think it was Mount Sinai, with the the 10 commandments on the tablets. I mean, that was Moses. That's leveling up. Paul. Paul started out actually murdering Christians. So he definitely had a leveling up process. Jonah. I mean, Jonah did not want to do what God was asking him to do, to the point where he got thrown over the side of a boat because of the storm, swallowed by a whale, hung out on the side of a whale for 3 days, got spit out, and then went back and did what he was supposed to do in the beginning. I mean, I think we can also relate to these different stories, and that's why I love those stories in the Bible. Getting to know really the individuals, like what were their lives like, and you can relate, because the process, it might sound sanitized after time has passed. It might sound abstract when you're talking about it, but going through it is freaking hard. I mean, basically, and I can speak for myself, and I'm imagining other people as well that I've spoken to, the desire to quit on a regular basis is a real thing. You have to fight that a lot. Just being overwhelmed, just feeling like, personally, just sort of feeling like I'm ass over elbows in trying to learn so much new stuff. Well, how do you do this? Well, I don't know. Well, how do you do that? I don't know. Well, are you supposed to do that? I don't know. That's my new I don't know. That's it. I feel so sorry for the consultant that's been working with me. Bless her heart. I mean, she's gonna need a massage or several massages when she's finally finished. But I don't know about you, but when I feel really overwhelmed and I get so aggravated and frustrated and I just want to quit, what I want to do is eat. I just want to eat a bunch of carby stuff, a bunch of sugary stuff. And then I have to resist that. So then that's hard. But I'm imagining there's some people out there that probably they turn to alcohol. They get so overwhelmed. They might want to reach for a beer or reach for a mixed drink or reach for a whiskey, whatever floats the boat. Other people might want to shop. They're just like, they've just got to escape. They just got to go shop, and they end up spending more than they should. Or maybe some people end up sleeping a lot. That's the ultimate escape, is just sleep, try to get to some other reality. There's just a lot of things that we do when we're feeling overwhelmed. But if we're in a leveling up process, we've got to figure out, how do we get through this so we don't like end up like 500-pound drunks with, or 5 closets full of clothes rather, that have the tags on them. Something else that I feel like is a struggle is the imposter syndrome. Because when you're leveling up, you sometimes have a hard time seeing yourself in this new light. The consultant working with me has fussed at me about this on several occasions. She seems to see me how I will be, and I appreciate that so much, and I need it so much. And other people seem to see me how I will be, or maybe how I am now that I don't even see. But I think there's other people too that struggle with imposter syndrome. And when you're leveling up, it's even worse because there's doubt. You're always looking around at, you're seeing other people that are doing it better than you. That was one of the things that I had to go through, was I had to review all of my competitors in the process that my consultants put me through. I had to go see, well, who's out there in the world doing what I want to do? Well, I totally understand why that's necessary. But I'll tell you, it does a number on you, because you see these people out there and they are rocking it. I mean, they look good, they speak well, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They've got amazing social media sites. They've just got it going on. And so after I got finished reviewing all of that, I'm just like, I felt like, okay, I'm done. I'm just going home. Just leave me alone. just I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna get a snack and I'm gonna read a book and I just want to be left alone. Because it's overwhelming when you start comparing yourself to other people. But if you happen to be in this process like I am in, you got to keep going. And I'll talk about that here in just a minute. As a Christian, sometimes I imagine Satan saying things to me like, you're never going to do this. You think you are, but you're not. You just don't have what it takes. You're just not going to make it. Aren't you tired? Don't you want to go lay down? Don't you want to do something simple? I mean, shouldn't you have started this like 20 years ago? I hear this stuff. Of course, those thoughts could very easily just be coming from my own mind. They're probably just my own thoughts, but I guess it makes me feel more comfortable imagining that it's Satan saying those things to me. I mean, I don't know that he's not. Who knows? But at the end of the day, here's the thing. What I'm trying to do, and if you're going through this, let's just kind of connect together. Let's bond together and let's go through this together. We just have to keep effing going. That's it. We can take breaks. We can take small steps, but we can't stop. Well, we can pause. We can take small breaks. We need to get help. Like I've got the wonderful help of my consultants. They have done things for me that have blown my mind. They were so far beyond me and above me. There's no way that whatever I end up doing and being, I couldn't have done it without them. So if you're frustrated, if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to get a different job or you're wanting to go down a different route or something, reach out, get some help. Take small steps. Ask yourself at the end of the day, have I accomplished one thing today that I didn't know yesterday? Do I know one more thing, just one thing today that I didn't know yesterday? And if the answer is yes, you're making progress. You're moving forward. I mean, to be honest, I said earlier, don't stop, but I want to rephrase that because I'm pretty sure that along this way, I have just fallen right over that cliff at least 6 or 7 times. I can remember just being done, DONE, done. And I would just go home and I just crawled in the bed, pulled the covers over my head. I just wanted to stay there for the rest of my life. But I learned that gets boring after a while. And then you start getting hungry and have to go to the bathroom, so then so then you get out of the bed. So it's like even if you do have those moments where you feel like you've just been slammed into the wall and you're on the ground and you're so tired and you're just over it and you're worn out and you don't think you can keep doing it anymore. If you need to lay on the ground for a while, lay on the ground. If you need to crawl into a fetal position, crawl into a fetal position. Do it. Do it for a few minutes. And then get up. Lay there for a while, but then get up. It turns out you can bounce back. It's amazing what you can bounce back from that you don't think you can, but you will. You'll bounce back. And really, I'm not done. I'm still in this. A lot of the people that I talk to, that I interview, not all of them, but a lot of them, their struggle, they're telling the story from a perspective of having gone through it and they're on the other side, which is fantastic to hear. This is not my story today. I've gone a long way and I've accomplished a lot, but I still have a ways to go. So I'm still in it. I'm still feeling these things. What I'm wanting to accomplish is putting together, like I said, that 14 module boundaries online course that I can put on my website, that people anywhere in the world that has internet access can come to my website, which is phoenixandflame.com, which that may be changing too. I think we're going to be adding another website. You see, it's just all changing and moving. It's like shifting sands underneath my feet. But it's good stuff. It's going in a good direction. But being able to offer boundaries courses to people, to me, is just I'm so passionate about boundaries. I talk about it every single day when I'm in therapy with people. I don't do it on purpose, but I'm just saying there's just not a day that goes by, there's not a session that goes by that I don't notice that there's a boundary issue that's causing a problem. And I know a lot about boundaries, both personally and professionally. And I also know there's people out there that they aren't really particularly interested or necessarily don't need therapy, but they really have some boundary issues and they would like to learn about how do they know if they have boundary issues in their life. Well, I'm going to be putting out information, a quiz that will help you figure that out. And then the course you can take to learn about that and to get better and set healthier boundaries and start seeing that in your life. Well, that's coming. That's what's around the pike for me, around the bend. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about possibly being able to do some speaking engagements, being able to go talk to groups of people about not just about boundaries, but also my experience, my witness, my Christian walk, how that has helped me, my journey, my faith journey, how that has helped me all along this way. I could not have made it without that. Sometimes I just get so full of doubt and frustration that I just think, I just want to go like do basket weaving or something, just something really simple that I don't have to keep leveling up and learning how to do this and learning how to do that and trying to learn. I mean, all this new stuff is just, it's quite overwhelming. But I can say, although I have fallen off a cliff, I can't even count the times. I said 6 or 7 earlier. That's probably an underestimation that I kept going. And I did have those times where I literally crawled in my bed and pulled the covers over my head. I think one time I actually laid in the floor in a fetal position. Not gonna lie. I'm just being honest because that's what my podcast is about. It's about honesty. It's about transparency and how I don't think it's right if I expect other people to be transparent if I'm not going to be transparent myself. I remember the day I'd had it. I'd had it. And I just felt like I couldn't stand anymore. And I literally laid in my floor in a fetal position. Here's what I learned. When you lay in the floor in the fetal position, it hurts your shoulder after a while. It starts to get uncomfortable. Then you got moving around, your bones start hurting and stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to stay here too long. This doesn't feel too good. So then I got up. So if you want to lay in a fetal position, you do it. If you want to crawl in your bed and pull the covers over your head, you do it. You're not alone. I've been there. If you feel like you've just been pushed right over the cliff and you're just going to hit the rock bottom, you'll hit the rock bottom and you'll lay down there for a while and then you get bored and have to eat and go to the bathroom and you get up. So don't let that scare you. It's going to happen. Just keep going. And I will say, and I'll leave this podcast episode with a scripture that has helped me so much throughout this journey and others as well. There's different variations of it depending on the book of the Bible that you're reading, but the one I'm going to be reading to you is from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 9 through 11. This happens to be the New International Version. You can check out different versions. I like the Message as well. That's really kind of the way we speak. But the New International Version says this: "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong.'" What I've learned about this scripture, and I have lived this scripture, I reach out to the Lord and I said, "Lord, in my weakness, you are strong. I can't do this. I'm telling you right now, what I'm getting ready to have to do, I can't do it. You're going to have to show up or it's not going to get done. It's that simple." And I'm telling you, every time he has shown up, he showed up. I was able to do it. And I cannot tell you how, other than God did it through me. So maybe that scripture will help you if you happen to be on this leveling up journey like I am right now. To be honest with you, I hope I have a very different story a year from now. But this is where I am right now, and I wanted to reach out to anyone else out there in my Phoenix and Flame community that if you guys feel like I do, or you know someone that feels like I do and is going through this, let's just lift each other up. Let's band together, keep going, don't give up. You might go from 75 miles an hour down to 2 miles an hour. That's okay. Just keep going. Who is it that said, I'm sure there's the famous person, I'll need to look it up, I guess, but a journey of 1,000 steps begins with step one. Take one step. And when you're feeling overwhelmed, you might want to take that drink. You might want to eat that donut. Maybe just take one bite. Maybe just take one drink, put it down, walk away. Reach out and get help. And the imposter syndrome, yes, it's there, but allow some space in your mind to think that you might have the capacity to be the person that other people see. Just let the door crack open for the possibility to be greater, bigger, more awesome than you see yourself. Let yourself see your possibilities. I'm glad that you have listened today. Thank you for spending your time with me. Please share this podcast on your social media platforms. Copy and paste the link to emails, text, however you want to do it to get the word out that we can band together and help one another and be honest and be real. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. This is Dana on Phoenix and Flame.